So today what we are trying to achieve here is understanding useMemo and yeah. So why is useMemo used? It's basically used for caching purpose to improve the performance of the app. Sometimes when a component did mount and everything just gets recalled on that function call on that amount of component. So in order to avoid certain functions to not get mount on the along with the component, you need to use memo. How? I will explain that. let's just have, let, let's just head over to the code and add a button here add to do. I need to explain this hook with an example. I will explain all in a while. Just give me a minute. Then also button with plus sign, and after that we are going to add an heading of expensive if function. Okay, all right. So here we are going to use two variables for use state. First one is count, second one is set count, and use state will be 0 for count, and second one will be to do and set to do. Use state will be an empty array for now. Okay, after that we are going to create an function const increment is equal to set increment set count, sorry, count plus 1, and a to do add to do function with set to do to do, and a new item would be new to do. Okay, let's use these functions wisely. On clicking the button for add to do, we are gonna call on click add to do, and I think we can map to do's here. To do dot map t li would be t, and after that on incrementing the value we are going to add on click increment function. Now what is this expensive function? Let's get to there. Okay, so const expensive expensive function is equal to num, and let's run a loop here to make the function an expensive one. For var I is equal to 0, I is less than 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and I plus plus. Okay, so here what we are trying to achieve here, num plus 1. Okay, and return that number at the end. Const, save that function in a variable. Calc is equal to expensive function, and give a value of count to that function. Now just call that variable. So why are we using expensive function? In some components in complex applications, there are certain functions that take quite much time in processing. So we don't want to rerun that one function when a component remounts or a page is refreshed. Okay. So first we are going to try it without use memo. Let's get our code, and when we say add to do, okay, you see, the value is not that much for an expensive function. We are going to add more zeros over here. Let's rerun the code. Let me, let's just make a little amendment here first in the UI. I think I have added an extra zero here. Yeah, it's running. Now I guess there are a lot of more zeros for this function. Let's reduce these functions now. Trying it again. Let's see we can run it or not. Okay, adding a to do, incrementing it. Fine, it's working now. Actually, what I'm trying to achieve here is to make a delay in the working so that I can show you, demonstrate how use memo can reduce this thing. Yeah, you see a delay after I add a to do, there's a lot much delay, and after incrementing, there's a delay of like 1 or 2 seconds. You see, understand? Each time when we are clicking on add to do or incrementing, the I can show you this line is running. In this line, it is calling expensive function taking account and running a loop over I can say more than a billion times, and after running that loop it is going to give that much thing. So how can we reduce that thing? We can use memo. What is use memo? Let's add here. Since the syntax is use memo is just like use effect, use memo. Okay, we have added the function inside use memo, and we can give it a dependency array count. Now let's see that thing. Okay, now adding to do, because since to do is not in the dependency array of use memo, so now we are like somehow we are neglecting this thing. Since the variables in the dependencies array have nothing to do with the whole code, this thing is being neglected when the component remounts. So like see, to do's are added without any delay. Since when we are adding this thing, let me add it. Yeah, like using use memo, we are using expensive function in between and a dependency array count. Let's see if we are going to change the value. You can see after so much time it gets incremented. 2, 3. On the other hand, add to do is not taking that much time. In fact, it is not taking any of the time. So let's see. Let's remove the count from here. Now the array is like empty. Since the array was empty, the expensive function was not being run. That's why the value is set to the initial one. Make sure when the component is like refreshed for the first time, like when I am adding that function, like running that, it will run for the first time for sure. But for the next time, you can handle the amount of the component of certain functions, of values, memorizations. So yeah, that was all from memorization, and I think that is pretty much enough to learn about use memo and how to use it. Thank you.